Good evening, mi gente. I know it's a bit of a later one for me, but had a pretty crazy Friday today. Had a pre-workout that made me feel like I was a crackhead, and that was fun. So the main thing I wanted to talk to you guys about in this evening is about how when you feel the excitement, something that's just like in your chest that you want to pursue because you can tell it's synergistic to your being. You just have this knowing that if I pursue this way of upgrading my finances or this activity because of how it stimulates me mentally or the peace it brings me, actually on that specifically, something that you just want to pursue because of how it makes your mind function and the peace it brings you. For me, that's rock climbing. When I started bouldering and top roping, I didn't realize how quiet my head got initially, just because I was able to kind of muscle my way through certain things. And then when I actually learned how to climb, which is with your feet and not your hands, I realized how much more methodical it was. And when you're mixing your dynamic, just being dynamic and just big swinging and then being technical through the route is awesome, but at the same time, there's no room for thought. There's only room for the route. And I think that's something that a lot of people are missing. And this is like me kind of subtly nudging you and be like, try climbing, bro. If you're one of those people that picks things up quickly or loves trying new things and being able to immerse yourself in something, to kind of compare to video games that has a lot of content and hours for you to enjoy, rock climbing is definitely that. Because as soon as you think you've got it down and you've mastered it, there's something new. Or there's a way to revisit an old route and take a hand away or take a foot away. There's just a bunch of really cool things about climbing that when it came to people who knew me from an outside perspective as someone who got into powerlifting, weight training, and strength training, all that, all the good things about training, they would look at that and say, why are you even doing that? If anything, it's going to make you look disproportionate. Like, your back's going to be bigger than your chest at some point, and your grip strength's going to be crazy, and your rear delts are going to be overdeveloped compared to your front delt, because they just wouldn't get it, right? And then, like, my legs would be different. I didn't really care. The stimulus that it brought me mentally and the comfort that gave me emotionally was awesome, because my mind wasn't so busy. My mind had to focus on what I was doing. I had to be on the task at hand. And that just goes back to my former thought, which is don't explain yourself when it comes to certain things you're doing. Not everyone is going to understand what you're doing, and if it feels right and you're seeing benefits to what you're doing and the kind of thing you're pursuing financially, physically, mentally, or emotionally, which is like inner reflective work, you don't have to explain it to anybody. One of the things that comes about like judgment when using scripture is a lot of people say like, oh, well, don't judge. But there is actually a way that spiritual practice wants to show you how to judge, and it's by the fruits of the thing, right? If someone does an activity and it makes them really focused, have a sharp understanding of things in like high tense situations, like they just stay clear, they stay sharp, they have a lot of presence of mind, whatever activity they're doing that make people want to judge them on because like, oh, it's funny, or it's not masculine, or that doesn't provide enough stimulus, and you just don't look tough doing that. Okay, well, that person has great presence of mind in high stress situations. So I would say the fruit of that activity, let's just say it's like Bikram yoga, has given that person a lot of presence of mind in high tense situations, or like hot yoga, like, okay, they're in like weird poses, stretching in and of itself is something that's really uncomfortable and pushes the body and, makes thoughts really loud about discomfort and wanting to stop doing it. But this person mastered that in that moment, and it helps them translate that kind of mastering calmness and uncomfort into really physical ones when they're experiencing them firsthand. So people may not understand why you do things or why you're pursuing them. Fuck them. Who cares? If you can have that point of reflection where after a session of rock climbing, after a session of long distance running, or studying whatever subject you want to study, ancient technologies, civilization and aliens, whatever, if you can reflect and go, wow, I have more clarity, I have more patience, I have more presence of mind, I'm spiritually more energized, and I just can charge at the days ahead of me. So the fruits of what you're pursuing are incredible. Everyone and their mom could be saying what you're doing is dumb, but if at the end of the day you're feeling fulfilled in what you're doing, that is more than enough. And if people can't understand, actually, this is a huge one. If let's say your friends are the ones that are kind of like negging you about that, if they're not the ones that there should be like three types of friends: the ones that neg you, which you just completely cut off; the ones that don't understand but are supportive; and the ones that maybe try to do it, don't see it for themselves, but appreciate what you're doing. Those latter two should be friends. The first ones that don't get it and continue to neg you or don't even try to understand, like they're just negative about it, cut them out of your life, man. Because those are the kind of people that peaked early on in their life. They're not academics of life, and they're going to grow up to be those old boomers and like millennial and Gen X men that don't try anything new because they don't want to look stupid because they're not good at it. Well, how can you get good at something if you never even do it? It's like the old joke of you just graduated college with like a 4-year degree, or let's say even like an 8-year degree, and you're pretty qualified for a job because of your work ethic and the knowledge you have, and you go and apply and the job says you need 2 years of work experience. And it's like, okay, well, how are all these entry-level jobs 2 years of work experience? How am I supposed to have 2 years if I spent X amount of time educating myself? So, I mean, that's where we are at now with the whole labor blah, 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 blah. But besides that, it's those kinds of people. They're like that. They don't want to gain the experience. There's like that weird entry barrier level for stuff, and they just fall off. And honestly, fuck them. They should fall off. Because typically those personalities also have narcissistic tendencies anyway, because they don't want to have their weakness be shown. So you can kind of kick that to the curb and let it be. But ultimately, never explain why you pursue things. And you can generally, like if someone asks you why you're doing it, but in like the surface level conversation of why, and you kind of just say, I feel good with it. Like, you tell them the fruit of what that activity or what your pursuit is doing, and that should be enough. It kind of reminds me of those instances. I grew up on Miami Beach in like I want to say my early mid-20s. I was there, and my best friend, he's an art student, and what's funny is he really taught me to explain why I like things, but he was also the kind of person that hated people that couldn't just like things to like them. There was like this performative pseudo-intellectual, I guess pseudo-artists, I don't know. It was like really performative where you would ask certain people why they wear certain things or why they like the genre of music that they do or why they watch the kind of films that they do, and they can explain every part of it. And at certain points in time, you can tell in the pockets of their explanations that it's like, oh my God, you just learned all of this stuff to like flex your knowledge and like big dick it. Like, you think you're gonna get women like this, bro? Like, this is so disingenuous. Ew. So that's like the other side of it. It's people who learn how to explain why about every facet of their life to people, and it's just so they can big dick them over and people not talk to them about those things. So it's like this weird reflexive mechanism of I want to sound so educated about the things that I like and pursue that I can just info dump on people and they leave me alone about them. And they wasted so much time to learn so many weird niche in-depth things about the death metal band that they listened to because they got like one of their nurses' moms to take a picture of like an autopsy going on, and that's the album cover. It's like, nobody needs to know that. Nobody even cares. I just like their vocals and riffs. Keep the groove on coming, bro. Like, what the fuck? So you're going to run into some of those people maybe depending on where you live. But ultimately, that's like the opposite of the spectrum. is someone who can explain all this stuff to you and is just irritating and just absolutely vexing to just be around, or there can be you, just guy who vibes. Guy who vibes, does what he wants, is authentic, and that's enough. And I promise you, guy who vibes goes way farther. Wait, let me see if I can. So guy who vibes will go way farther than guy who over-explains to seem like, it'll grow his foreskin back. Be the one who's authentic. Don't explain yourself. Damn, I forgot how that Arnold Schwarzenegger little quote goes, where he's like, "I'm a stud. I smoke a cigar wherever I want. I'm ballsy. I'm this, whatever." Like, just be yourself, dude. Be yourself. Pursue life. Enjoy it. Don't explain why you do things. Just be you. And if you want to learn how to be able to maintain your passion for things, or maybe even find new ways to reignite your spiritual energy, your physical one, you're just the innocence in you and that fun in life, hit me up on Instagram, man. I read all of my messages. I love connecting with people. I love to find out how you guys are, who you guys are, what you aspire to do in life, because ultimately community and connection is the future. If nobody believes in you, I believe in you. And I can bench 315, so fuck them.